3-0, take a really commanding lead. The series is basically over. No team has come back from a 3-0 lead. So this is safe to say that the series is almost over. And if I'm a Mavs fan, I am really happy with the way my team played. I want to specifically look at the second half, which I think was really productive for the Mavs. You see, they went 17 for 29 from the field. That's 58%. Almost 59. That's a really good split. 57% from three. Going 4 for 7 from three is very, very important. And going 81% from the line, 82% basically. 18 for 22. If you're going that from the line, you're kind of putting the defense in a tough position. Getting 22 free throws in general in the second half is definitely something, you want to have. As we see, Kyrie was really efficient, 7 for 10 from the field, and so was Luka, who was 5 for 8. And when you have those two guys playing at that level, it's really hard. That's 19 and 18 from them in the second half alone. That's a really tough cover if I'm the defense. But I think more importantly, something that we saw was that PJ Washington was able to go 1 for 2 from three and two. And Derrick Jones Jr. to this point in the first half actually had three threes. He was 3 for 4 from the field, 3 for 3 from three, did not miss a three. And that was kind of what the Mavs were waiting on. In both games in Minnesota, the role players had not shot the ball as well, had like they did against the Thunder. And the saying that role players play better at home definitely applies to this team. So Derrick Jones Jr. and PJ Washington had a great game, as well as Daniel Gafford, who definitely stepped up big time. Dwight Powell played decent. As well, missing Derek Lively after he went out with the apparent head injury when he knocked the back of his head into Cat. But I think that I think that all around, I think this was a really, really good win for the Mavs. I think this was a really promising win. So let's take a look at the shots that they hit, their made shots, what they were doing in the second half to, create looks. Kyrie's bringing the ball up, and now we get a screen. And now Rudy is in drop coverage. Now, this is really bad. The Mavs have already established that they were going to kill Rudy in drop coverage. That was all game one. Game one was really, really hard on Rudy. You were able to let guys like Kyrie and Luka really just operate. They really did not have much of an option. And you see, we take this screen and Rudy, and before we go ahead, Rudy is a great defender. I don't want anyone to think anything different. Rudy is a great defender, but he is not a big that you want in, up here guarding Kyrie Irving or guarding Luka Doncic. That's not what you want. And you have Derrick Jones Jr. and PJ Washington spaced out in the corners. These are two guys who are shooting pretty decent that night. So you're gonna have Kyrie get downhill, and now Jaden McDaniels has to make a decision. He has to make a decision. Kyrie knows he has to make a decision. You have Luka. Luka shooting really good tonight. Luka, he's your best offensive player. You have your two best offensive players basically playing 2-on-1 right now because we're not even really worried about Rudy. Kyrie could very easily get past Rudy if he needs to. Jaden McDaniels helps a little too far over. Luka, step into it. Wide open three. Here, we have Kyrie. We have Kyrie spaced out 1-on-1 with Mike Conley. Mike Conley is a capable defender, but Kyrie is one of the best players in the league. Gets downhill. That's an easy bump. There's nothing Mike can really do in this situation. He does a good job. He does what he is supposed to do. Now we have Luka off of a kind of a delay, almost a dribble handoff. He comes down to DHO, gets Jaden McDaniels on his back. Now we're in a tough position. Nickeil Alexander-Walker kind of has to pick. Stay with Kyrie, don't stay with Kyrie. That's a tough decision to make. He doesn't stay. Now we have Naz Reid, who Luka is one of the best passers in the league. He's going to make this read. If Naz drops, Luka has shown the ability to make some great jump passes already in this series. That's an easy jump pass to a PJ Washington who's been hitting threes pretty consistently. And I don't love how far Ant is over, but Josh Green, this is not the greatest three-point shooter, so we can live with it. But if you see where Naz Reid is not in the paint at all, and you know where this pass is going. It's pretty easy to see where this pass is going. An easy lob to Daniel Gafford, who is a great lob threat. Now Kyrie 1-on-1 with Rudy Gobert. This is not what you want if you're the Timberwolves. Easy jab step, breaks him down. And now we're in the easy. It is easy. It's a tough shot, but that's a 1-on-1 that you're gonna want to have. And if you're Minnesota, I think you have to throw a double. Here we have good defense. Create a fast break. Luka is pushing it. Luka is pushing it, and now we have options. You have Derrick Jones Jr., a really good slasher on the wing. Hardy probably wants to space out to the corner here. You know, he's not as much of a threat in the paint. But then you have I'm pretty sure that's Dwight Powell on your right, and now Naz Reid has to make a decision again. You have guys. Ant, I need Ant to sprint back. Ant's not sprinting back. That's tough. That's a tough decision for Naz Reid. He's gonna stop ball on Luka. You see Powell looks like he's going for the lob. Luka just stops simply right here and just it's an easy pull up. You know, he put Naz Reid in a tough position in transition. See Jaden Hardy gets downhill, shields Alexander Walker off, up in the air. And this is a good finish. This is a good finish from a young player, a young player. And that's what something you would love to see. Kyrie, again, now we have a screen. Now we're putting Cat in the screen this time. Cat is a little more mobile than Gobert, but this is still not good if you're the Wolves. So you see Gafford is kind of entering the middle, but Gafford's not really the greatest playmaker, especially when he's not, kind of in the restricted area. He's not really doing too much. So we're kind of if you're the Wolves, you're okay with this. Josh Green's not the greatest shooter, so I like where Naz Reid is. But PJ is a good shooter, and that's going to play into this play when you see it. Let's keep going. Let's keep going a little bit further. Alexander Walker has to pick here. And when you're making him decide, that is really tough for a defender to decide what to do here. You have the best offensive player on the court right now is Kyrie Irving. So you probably want to double this, but these are NBA players. This is Jaden Hardy. He's a young player, but he's a capable shooter, has shown he's a capable shooter. He's capable of knocking down shots. But you see that as Kyrie starts to approach the paint, Kyle Anderson has now turned his back. He is going back out towards PJ Washington. So now Kyrie gives Mike Conley a bump. Alexander Walker jumps out of the play. Kyle Anderson covering up the corner. And Cat has now dropped into the paint, but he's dropped with Gafford. And this is pretty easy for Kyrie. It's an easy finish. Kyrie downhill. This is a one-on-one, and this is really tough for Alexander Walker because as you can see, he's moving backwards and Kyrie's getting ready to shoot it. That's an easy stop and pull as he had one-on-one with a defender. Kyrie one-on-one at the top of the key, and he's gonna dance. And if I'm Alexander Walker, this is really, really good defense. I don't personally for the Wolves, I think that you can't really allow Luka and Kyrie to keep going one-on-one at the top of the key, and especially in the fourth quarter, those are not the guys you want shooting the shots. And Kyrie gets to his spot. It's an easy mid-range pull. Let's see, Kyrie again takes it up. They're starting to throw double teams, which is smart. But with these double teams, now you get guys in a mixer. So you have one, two, three defenders, and you have one, two, three, four Mavs offensive players. You have a 4-on-3. Josh Green, this is a good swing to put the defense in a little bit of a mix. Now you see Kyle Anderson's gonna close here. Cat's gonna have to move over. Mike Conley's gonna drop to Gafford just in case. We're gonna cover up that pass. And now we end up with a one-on-one with Luka Doncic and Cat. And this is a favorable matchup for the Mavericks. You have one of the best offensive players in the league. Jab step back, and it's an easy three for him, even with the contest. Again, we're doubling Kyrie. That's fine. Kyrie is going to attack Mike Conley, get through the double. He attacks one man, gets through the double, creates some space. Now we're in a tough spot if we're the Timberwolves. Timberwolves, you see Kyle Anderson. He's gonna end up kind of being the primary defender here for Kyrie if he doesn't step over quite fast enough. Kyrie goes up with the layup, and Kyle Anderson does a good job. But watch Cat here. This is the guy you want to watch. Cat does not do a good job here. He's boxing out, but he's in a tough position the whole play. As you can see, he has Derrick Jones Jr. and Naz Reid has Luka. Naz Reid is not really going to move here, which is not a bad thing because Luka is the best offensive player. But you have Derrick Jones Jr. and Derrick Jones Jr. has been hitting threes this game. You see Kyrie gets downhill. Cat does not really do a good job. He kind of did like a fake stunt, but did not do much. And now he doesn't box out PJ Washington. PJ Washington, you see, is going to come from the backside, easy tipping. Luka one-on-one with Naz Reid. Now, this is a matchup you want if you're the Mavericks. You're gonna let him dance, let Luka dance, get downhill. Good stunt by Cat, but Luka is a really good offensive player. He puts Naz Reid on his hip. turn around, and that's a tough shot, but that is a shot that you got your best player one-on-one. You're okay with that one. Daniel Gafford, good swing to PJ Washington, get downhill. Mike Conley plays good defense here, but we have helped too far over. Ant drops in really far because Gafford on this pass, you see Ant has dropped because Gafford is basically by himself. If PJ Washington, Mike Conley does a good job, but you see Nas Reed is coming to help, and Ant is going to have to drop here. Ant drops here. Kyle Anderson, ball watching. He likely has Luka somewhere out here. But if I am the Wolves, I think that you have to cover up Kyrie Irving and Luka. I think Kyle Anderson definitely has to drop to the corner to Luka. Let me have Cat go to Luka, and let's see if Derrick Jones Jr. or somebody else can make a play. But nobody drops. Easy kick to the corner for Kyrie. Now he has Ant on a closeout, able to get downhill, and that's a tough finish, a tough left-handed finish. Again, screens were a big part of the Mavs offense. You have Gafford come up. Luka picks the ball up, actually swings it to Kyrie. Where is Ant? What is Ant doing here? Ant is lost. This is a defensive lapse a really young talented star, but a young player. You see that he's down here. Um, Mike Conley runs out, and I think Conley notices that Ant's not really paying attention. Now Kyrie's easy swing one more to PJ Washington, who's wide open in the corner for a three, and you go up three with 3 minutes left now. Let's see. We get down. We have Jaden McDaniels trying to cover a really talented Luka Doncic, and he has him on his shoulder, and that's pretty easy. Luka is able to dance, great footwork. That's a tough shot, but that's a shot that Luka can hit all day. Gives him a good bucket. Now let's see Kyrie at the top of the key. Comes off the screen. Now we're doubling. Cat has to close off sideline, does not close off sideline. Kyrie is able to push, get around him. Now you have Cat. He's momentum is going all the way to the baseline. Kyrie is able to stop and step it back. That's a really tough shot, but that's a really good play from a talented offensive player. Now, this is where we're looking at almost the dagger here, and you see Luka gets another screen from Gafford. We're putting Gobert in the mixer. This is the guy you want. They expose Gobert for his drop coverage, and Gobert doesn't. He's not really in drop because his drop may want to be close to the 3-point line, but he's not up in the hedge or in a double. And I think here, if I'm Jaden McDaniels, this has to be an ice. You have to ice this screen. You have to force Luka to go to the sideline. You can't allow Luka to get here and be able to get to the middle of the floor with your big man on the perimeter. This is a bad look. McDaniels is going to sprint back to get in front, but Luka just shields him off. Luka is a big body. He's 6'7", 6'8", and he's 220, 230 pounds. And this is easy downhill to a lob for Daniel Gafford. And that's pretty much the game right there. The stadium is electric now, and Gafford finishes over one of the best defenders in the league. You see where we're getting a lot of shots as the Mavs. Their shots are coming from everywhere. They're able to get threes. They're able to get to the paint. They're able to get mid ranges for their best players, and that's kind of some of the most impactful stuff that you could see from this game.